Welcome to LOA Today. I'm Walt Thiessen. With me today is longtime listener, poet laureate, and Taya Master Anne-Marie Young. This is your Daily Dose of Happy. We are so happy you decided to join us today. Yeah, it actually helps if I put us on screen. It makes it work a whole lot better. So here we are. Hello, and welcome to another episode. We are recording this on Martin Luther King Day here in the United States. So if you are celebrating that particular holiday, thank you for spending this time with us today. And we have a guest joining us. Her name is Heidi Beyer. She is the CEO of BU, which is a wellness and anti-aging company. And she's going to be telling us all about her products and services and so forth. But Anne-Marie, as usual, we don't actually go to products and services and books and so forth right away. We want to find out who they are, right? I mean, we got to find out, is this person somebody, do I believe this person? Is this person credible?
But there's always a really good story behind it, isn't it? And that's what we want to hear.
Yeah, we love those stories. This is true. So Heidi, first of all, welcome. Thank you for joining us on the program today.
Thank you so much for having me, Walt and Anne-Marie. I really appreciate it. Boy, I love to tell a good story.
All right. Okay.
Yay.
Well, then the gauntlet has been thrown down. You tell us the story. How did you end up doing this?
Well, can I address the LOA, because I just adore your.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, you can never talk about law of attraction on this show.
So I just want to say that, wow, I have been a student of the law of attraction. I'm speaking of the Abraham initiative, right when they first started that
back
whole
in the 80s.
Yes, back in the 80s, before people knew who they were. Wow. And it was the white cassette tapes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. You've totally dated yourself, but that's all right. We'll let that one slide.
I'm so happy with that. I know I don't look the part, so that's all that matters. This is, it was like I was listening and just absorbing. And it's so interesting, the amalgamations, if you will, of like shifts that have occurred. And it's like, it doesn't like it. Yes, it sort of gets easier, but in a way it doesn't really get easier, because every day it's contrast, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, that's why we came here, supposedly. Apparently, that's what I've been told. And it seems to add up. It seems to be what we're here for. I sometimes question my judgment in doing that, but nevertheless, that's what we're here for.
Don't we all?
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly. I totally understand. So, just to answer your question about how the business started, I've been so focused on inner health and outer health. So it's how you feel about yourself on the inside is a reflection about how you look on the outside, and vis-a-vis. It's always been super important. I live in Los Angeles, and people here by and large come here from other places because they're seeking to better themselves in one form or another, whether it be from getting into the industry, the entertainment industry, or it's a very deep spiritual community here. Anything to do with trying to be the best that they can possibly be. So that's always been very attractive to me. Plus the weather doesn't hurt.
Gee, I wonder why. Yeah.
So so it's, for me, it's actually, inside out, outside in. If I feel good, how I look about myself, absolutely, it's going to help me to get to a place where I want to be and really feel like I have that best opportunity. So, the industry, or BU Renewed, is the company, and it's all about really trying to, from a perspective of, because I'm now much more aware of using supplements and other, things to actually support my daily practice, other than what I do in my life, from the working out to my actual work. These are things that are super important. So if I can help people, so I'll just kind of say to you, it's about being of service. And this is a really wonderful way for me to change other people's lives, one person at a time.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. No doubt about that. I think it's also apropos. We've had a number of people on the show in the last few months who have a health-oriented perspective on, in some way or another. They're either a medical professional or they're teaching stuff through books or whatever. We've had people with some really unusual things too. But particularly for me lately, like in the last couple of weeks, I've been really paying attention to exactly what you're talking about in my own life, and kind of taking stock and reevaluating and applauding myself for the things that I've been doing in that direction that have helped, and saying, why aren't you doing the other ones? And the usual routine that we all go through, right?
Like, is there a specific example that you can relate to?
Oh, well, for instance, I had been kind of lazy in my meal preparation over the last year or so, and been using a lot of packaged stuff, and just realized just how high the sodium count was. I had no idea how high the sodium count. It was ridiculous. And I was having symptoms from it and so forth. Like, oh, okay. So yeah, my sodium count has come down significantly in the last couple of weeks, as one example.
Right. And especially when you go get your annual physical, that's always an illuminating experience. Yeah, exactly. About what if something's high, you wouldn't even think about it. It just really gives you one more, kind of food for thought.
I discovered it independent of any kind of doctor visit. I wasn't feeling right. I kind of did a little self-analysis. I said, gee, I wonder what this could be, and looked at some of the minor symptoms I was feeling and said, that sounds salt related. I wonder how much salt I'm taking. I hadn't given it any thought. I had given it no attention at all. And then I started adding it up, and it was like, it was ridiculous amounts. It was like 3,000 or 4,000 milligrams of salt. Like, what? You're gonna be kidding me. What am I doing?
Wow. So smart. That was super smart, though, that you were so intuitive. And that happens when you practice the law of attraction. You become much more intuitive, interested in.
So, yeah. I think it's also about just paying attention. The more you pay attention to stuff about yourself, the more stuff you notice. Because I'm pretty sure I'd had these minor symptoms for quite some time, but I hadn't noticed them. I hadn't paid attention to them. And lately, I've been paying more and more attention for the reasons I gave. We're doing more stuff here on the show, talking about these topics a lot more. And so I was just noticing, like, yeah, I don't feel quite right. Why don't I feel quite right? And it was a little journey of discovery at that point, just trying to figure out, why am I feeling the way I'm feeling?
Right. So yeah, that's interesting. When you are starting to put more attention on something, and you have people kind of showing up and offering you kind of a different perspective, and then it sort of builds from there, and you didn't really even think it was a thought until it popped up, and you addressed it.
Yeah.
And you kind of nipped it in the bud.
Yeah. Hopefully I have. I think I have. We'll find out, Time will tell.
Wow. That's powerful.
So you've been doing the BU renewed since the 1980s. How long have you been doing this? I wasn't really sure how long this has been going on.
Yeah, no. This business is actually a fairly new entity. Over the last 8 months, I have actually really put everything into, I had about 4 or 5 years of kind of looking into the formulas and to the ingredients, making sure everything that goes into, it's super important. People don't even recognize how important, and it's not about for them to go, oh my God, it's the best ingredients. It's about them to actually feel like that they can trust, to build, that they're open and willing to trust a brand, that they actually feel better for it. And yes, having that, yes, it's great ingredients, yes, this and that, and the formula is amazing, but it's the experience of actually wanting to, that they go through it, and they know that these are the ingredients, by the way, the formulas, but they go through it, and they're willing to change their perspective on life. And once they feel better, then it's about how they feel. And if they can actually get to a place of joy in their life, then I feel like I'm helping to illuminate and to, kind of give them just a physical betterment, not just a mental or spiritual or, anything psychological, perspective.
And they all go together. That's one of the things I've been paying attention to with myself, because I've been recognizing probably the strongest thing that I can do is to do whatever I can to get myself to feel better, which is not the way you normally do it with medical science, but it is the way to do it when you're trying to figure out what's going on in your own body, because feeling is like your best cue. That's the thing that you learn the most about what's going on. Just well, how do I feel? How does this feel? How does that feel? So feeling becomes important from the physical perspective, and it also becomes important from the emotional perspective, because if you're, and I've been really paying attention to this lately, like really noticing it. If you're focusing on stuff that doesn't feel really good to you from an emotional perspective on a fairly regular basis, guess what? You're going to start manifesting physical symptoms of some kind.
Totally.
I mean, that's just the way it plays out, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I've been really, really aware of that lately. So
it's super interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that kind of fits into why you end up doing what you're doing, because I imagine you're probably doing it out of your own experience, among other things.
Absolutely. Yeah. My experiences kind of, dictate like how I move in my life. And I really feel like I have influenced people, just, my circle of friends, my family, anybody who I come into contact with business wise. I know that people they really feel that they want to hear more of what I have to say. And I'm not saying that, that end all be all, but I really, why not? I know that there are, you attract, this is one of the practices that Abraham has actually been talking about. And I actually tune in. There's something called Abraham Now workshops, and I'm not an employee of Abraham, but I really am as somebody. I tout it like, I do practice it every single day. And they're the Abraham Now, they're the broadcasts they do. Right. It was during COVID, and now she's out doing all the workshops, and then just kind of a couple times a month, and you can actually hear the recordings afterwards. And you always pick up, how it is. You pick it up. It doesn't matter where you are. It's you get it. You get what you need to hear. And and the whole point is that with this, that we find our matches. So one of the practices that she talks about is finding matches. And so if, what I have to offer, what I know that works or feels good, there are people who absolutely feel the same way or want to envelop and enjoy that kind of a different way to look at it and feel that too. They want to get it. They're so grateful. So it's like we find our matches. And that's something that I have been working on, especially in the business and attracting, people, my team around me, finding the right people to come work with me. It doesn't have to be the resistance there. You don't have to try to sell somebody on coming to work with you, or to, buy your product. It's like, it's an energy thing. And that's what I was trying to make that point before, about, the product itself. It's not about the product is, I know it's wonderful, but it's more about the fact that, that they will go to another level in their life. And again, that they will be enlivened and enlightened and, just have a vibe of, enjoying life. I mean, that's what we're here for, to enjoy life. But, on a daily basis, it's we have our ups and downs.
How are you doing on the enjoying life, Anne Marie? Are you enjoying it? I'm trying to do a lot to enjoy it at my end, not always successfully, but I do my best. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I don't like Monday mornings, but once I've got into the groove of it, I quite like it. Yeah, no, I was thinking this morning, because like I say, I wasn't having the best morning this morning, trying to get the kids out, trying to get to the office, traffic, all that malarkey. And then I was just kept trying to think of that whole positive things, putting that positive spin on it. Like, I'm feeling really grumpy. I don't want to go to the office today. And it's like, oh, isn't it a beautiful day? Just look at the trees, appreciate the trees. And it is just a constant about just like, okay, we're going down. Let's find something.
Right. Yep. Right. And then did it change? Did you see it?
I had a great day.
The result of that? I mean, did that help you?
Yeah, massively. Yeah. Just listen to stuff on the radio, just looked at the sunshine. By the time I got to work, I was in a much better mood and I had a really good day. So yeah, I do find the fun. I do try and find that fun.
So it's the practice, it's like really one kind of
practice.
and you don't need to add that much to your day to really see some sort of result. And then when you add something to your day, like a positive mindset, and you do see, a positive result, it kind of puts you on a better playing field where you want to be, and allows you to bring more in. and attract more.
Absolutely. I mean, I was listening to somebody today and they were just discussing a work situation, and I was just like, just kill them with kindness. Just kill them with kindness. Not like kill them, but just show kindness. Just show kindness.
Yeah.
Because if you give that out, that's what you're going to get back, and you're not going to get the friction that you're getting currently.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I get that with here in Los Angeles, one of the challenges we have is driving.
Right.
The traffic is just ridiculous. It can be, unless you really know how to maneuver. And that is something that I actually have a gift for. And yeah, it's a whole positive mindset about making sure that, of course, you want to go from A to B in a very safe manner, but you also want to treat people with respect on the road, and you want to be treated the same. And so, it's sort of like that, and you want to take care of other people, and you really do get back. And that's an instantaneous manifestation.
Absolutely. I always make sure I let people out. If they're waiting, I will let them out, because I know one day when I'm in a rush, someone's going to let me back. It'll be paid forward.
That's right. Paid forward. That's right. That's wonderful. Yeah. I love that.
So with the formulas that you're selling, how did you get into that? Did you study nutrition?
No, I have no background.
Is it just something
I am just an entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur. I'm somebody who I'm a great consumer. I have been through so many trainings with, just, having people, nutritionists, having, I have no problem with doctors. Doctors are fine. In fact, I absolutely recommend, this is not a replacement. These are not replacement for going to the doctor. But I'm so super conscientious and conscious about the mind. I know that it heals. And so I actually prefer to try to work things out through that process rather than making an appointment, going to see a doctor. But and this is meant for, supporting and not to take away from, if you have a real issue. And, so from that perspective, being quite the, so into my health and fitness and what I eat, like you say, Walt, with the salt, being super conscientious about, eating fresh foods and vegetables, living foods. I am not a vegan. And I feel like I'm like the most, why I can, people can relate. So many people can relate to where I come from, because I am not on this kick about I'm a vegan, which is fine, which is great. I have a lot of vegan friends and I eat it occasionally, but there's certain things like I'm not meant to be perfect. I don't want to be perfect. In fact, I want it to be where I'm imperfect. And that's the attraction.
Yeah, I would say if you were trying to be perfect, then your mental health isn't going to be very sane, because it's just too hard. It's too hard. Just be yourself.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So no, it's like I come from a very practical perspective. I know what I like and I know what will help other people. So I really but I've done a lot of homework and research. Obviously, I know the formulas. I know what's meant to go in there. I know the quality of product. I have actually aligned with these scientists who have been studying for more than 30 years. And there's a group of them that I actually really value and where they come from and I trust. And they actually come from an alternative perspective as well, which I love. And so, actually be engaged with them and to get what they have to offer. That's how I came up with the formulas. And why am I, doing this is because I use the products. It's really that simple. This is not like I'm this expert, doctor, and you have to do this. And I value that. I really do. But that's not, I'm coming from a place of, hey, I'm like you. And if I can benefit, this is all that it's about, is help one person helping another. I feel like people can relate more to me because of that experience.
It's not really the same thing at all, but it reminds me of another product line entirely that was advertised pretty heavily in the 80s and 90s called Hair Club for Men, and the CEO always used to say, I'm not just the CEO, I'm also a client, and you're basically saying the same thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right, right. And yeah, that's my next hair club for women. That's my next.
Okay.
No, but actually, the hair thing is a big deal right now. People, adding women, like, you see if you go on social media, which I had really before the business, I wasn't so, it's like I'm really focused on making the world a better place, making my life, really trying to be an additive person here while I'm on the planet. And but now I'm really into social media, and you see like these little posts of people, their hair falling out, these young girls. And so that's the hair story. But that is a thing. Yeah.
Well, it's certainly a thing I understand, because I'm literally, as far as I know, I am the only male, certainly of my generation, I think of the next generation as well, in my entire family who has hair.
Wow.
So it's, it's a pretty big deal.
You have lovely hair too. Well,
Thank you.
that's something to be proud of.
Well, it is actually, because from a very
Yeah.
young age, I was aware of the male pattern baldness trend in my family, and I wanted to do what I could to overcome it. And so I just, I went kind of radical about it. I mean, I stopped using off the shelf hair products because they were all so harsh. They were rough on the hair, on the scalp, and everything else. There were very few alternative products at that point. I think there were like maybe 2. They weren't very good. So,
Right.
a lot of it was just experimenting and just basically trying to avoid using harsh products as much as I could. That was probably the biggest thing that I did.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really smart. Yeah, and in fact, that man who created the company, he was so ahead of his time. I mean, in a way, um, because not having the technology or things out to offer people.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that line of thought when being kind of just very ahead of time. And I really feel that I have a similar background with things. I kind of come up with ideas well before they would be something that would be, let's say, in the public.
Mhm.
I'll give you a quick example of something that I created. This is now in my 20s. Excuse me. I was so this was and I was in LA, and it was an idea that I had where I wanted to do affirmation dolls. Actually, affirmation
Dolls. Okay.
doll. And I actually, even at that time, so what I did was I patented the idea. And I had an attorney who was, just kind of helping to execute all the paperwork. And this was like a law of attraction thing, because I just started attracting the right people around me to actually get me to, there was my really dear friend of mine who was a producer, and she was doing MTV music videos. She and this is her boyfriend in New York City, who was also in the industry, had a company that was doing like toy products. So anyway, the point is that she turned me on to him, and he loved the idea and started bringing it around to like Mattel,
Wow.
and put together a prototype, brought it around to all these places. And it was just a little too, ahead of its time.
Yeah. I
at
get
that
it.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah. But pretty
just-
cool though.
It was cool. And not only that, but I had it as like a diversity thing too. So I wanted like every culture to be represented. So I was very aware of that.
So what was the idea? I mean, how are you supposed to use this product? What was the mode of operation?
The mode of operation was just for people who were feeling down and they wanted to have like a companion. They didn't have a companion that was telling them how great they are, that they just pressed the button, on a little recording inside an actual doll that sort of looked like them. So like, for, let's say a white girl, white doll, if that's, I mean, at the time, that's how it really was, kind of more like that, or somebody who's Asian had an Asian doll, or African-American, had a black doll, it was like, I wanted it to be where they looked at the doll and they're like, that's me.
Mm. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
It's
that was
that would be interesting to see how that would play today, because like you said, we've kind of come a long way from where we were back then. I'd be curious to see how that would be received. But anyway, that's another topic for another day, I think.
yeah, no,
Let's
so
get back.
I'll get that going and then come back and let you know how it's going.
Okay. All right. That's fair. Well, I wanted to ask how this other is going. I mean, because you've been doing this product line. I think you said for 8 months you've been doing this. So
Yeah, well, it's
imagine
8 months, and we are in the market. It's
Mhm.
doing well. I mean, we're getting a tremendous response. I have people, kind of well-known people coming out and wanting to represent the product. So it's just we're in negotiations and just trying to work out how that looks. I mean, it's this wonderful world of social media where we get to really pick and choose and go down many different tentacles of marketing and verticals. They call them
Mhm.
verticals, and kind of just put as much out there to try to get us good response. But again, it's about them, like I say, the matching. So the right people come to you, and that's what it's all about. And you know how anything starts. It's like a seed. Abraham talks about with the law of attraction. It's like a thought turns to things, if you believe. And so it's like the more you put the thought on it, and then the more you see it grow, and then it really expands. So it's in it. I would call it an infancy stage, though we're getting a lot of traction, right? Because once you start really knowing what the product is, like you knew what the hair club for men is,
Mhm.
it's like to get to that level. I mean, that just takes kind of the 100th monkey theory. I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Oh yeah.
The awakening to it.
Right.
So that's, and I'm a spiritual individual. I've been practicing yoga, Siddha yoga for many, many years. So I'm all into that. But I also, again, like to really keep it very business, kind of conservative with people, and allow them to, just be kind of a funnel to where they're coming from, and hear what they are, and not just try to put my thing on them, to try to offer good
And,
information that helps.
and we know obviously it is a very young business. You're in your infancy, so to speak, with the way you described it. I think that's an accurate thing. But I'm just curious, even in the 8 months you've been doing this, have you gotten any success stories out of it? Are people, I mean, it's a short period of time, so it's kind of hard to draw success stories from that short period, but have there been any?
Well, I mean, there have been like just a handful of people who actually communicate with me to let me know, wow, this is really great, and I feel so much better for it. And
Okay.
then they actually are making, I've asked them to, put that up on the post, on the social media. So we have, that the feedback is really wonderful. But is it, like at that 100th monkey that, everybody knows about it, or it's, kind of in a place where it can grow into like this huge marketing campaign? That's coming.
Mhm. Sure, yeah. Well, I wasn't thinking so much about the marketing side. I was thinking more in terms of people just applying it and either having success or not having success with the product itself in their own lives. That's what I
Yeah.
was
Oh,
coming from.
absolutely. And I track that as much as possible. You know how it is. If people are
Oh, yeah.
are there to share, they have their own lives. I'm available, and I let them know that, please, I'd love to, just get your story.
Mhm.
So,
So you were telling us before we got started about the 3 main product lines. Let's go into those a little bit in a little bit more detail. So there's the well-being system, there's the age well system, and the stay
mhm,
sharp system.
mhm.
Obviously, they are all named to indicate what it is that they're aimed to do. But let's talk about each one in detail. Let's go with the well-being system first.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's about well-being, but what exactly does that mean? How do you define that? What is well-being in the way that you formulated it?
Well, well-being to me is about how you can be your best on a daily basis without having an interference of the resistance coming up, where negativity plays into, kind of takes over your mind and your brain.
Mhm.
So these products, so we what we do is we created a stage 1 and a stage 2. So this is the well-being. This is the stage 1, which you take in the morning. It's called the stage 1 morning formula. And then the stage 2 is an evening formula. And both of them are meant as a comprehensive system, meaning that it's meant to actually take away from, let's say, 10 or 12 products that you might actually buy that would cover what is the what they actually do for you. And so number one, it's going to give you less less out-of-pocket expenses. This actually, it's a much less cost to have a comprehensive program. But as far as what it does is it actually combined, it provides just an amazing effect. So the stage 1 is anti-anxiety. It's stress support and calm. And this is throughout your day. And then the stage 2 is for relaxation, for rest, getting a good night's sleep, going deep in your sleep. These are the effects and the benefits of both as a combined system. So many people will buy 6 or 7 products, let's say, to indicate each and every thing that this actually can do for you. But buying this system allows them to simply have, a course of action that they know that they're covered for the day.
But what exactly does this have in it? I mean, what kind of ingredients are we talking about?
Well, we have, let me pull my glasses out. We talk about, like, on the stress support, it has, all the vitamins. It's the exact vitamin B, and the vitamin Bs are just all about helping to provide some calm and anti-stress in your life. Magnesium, zinc, there's calcium, biotin. There's a proprietary blend that we have, which is, there's Riodola, and chamomile, and ashwagandha is a really big one right now. That is an Indian herb that really takes away stress. And once it hits your bloodstream, it just really helps you to be calm and relaxed. GABA is another one for sleep and relaxation. So these are melatonin for the evening. I mean, these are the herbs and minerals and vitamins that you find in these particular products. And we just use a very high grade of them. The L-tryptophan, the St. John's wort. I mean, these are some of the ingredients that you have in the well-being system.
Okay. Yeah. And what's different about the stage 2?
And the stage 2 is the relaxation. I mean, it's the melatonin. So you're going deeper into it, the St. John's wort. You're going deeper into sleep. It's the, rest and relaxation. So the difference is, one is a sleep formula and one is during the day, calming, allowing you to, just deal with life on a less, not having to rely on, I was going to say, not relying on, let's say, if you have an anti-anxiety, medication, but the key is it's meant to just calm you down and give you support that.
But it's also giving you some good stuff, isn't it? It's giving you stuff your body needs as well.
Absolutely. So if you don't get these items, which a lot of the vitamins, minerals, and herbs, it's hard to actually, extract. It depends if you're not eating the right foods, or even if you are eating the right foods. It's hard to know what each and every food group, what they give you, the benefits of each, what you're eating. I mean, certainly you can read all about it and then make a list of everything in there. And, oh boy, I'm going to have my broccoli and have this and that. And I know I'm going to get all my vitamins and nutrients for the day. But most people don't have time, and they don't look to do that depth of analysis of what their food choices are for the day. So you can still go out and have pizza and have a good burger and still and have the well-being system, and that'll take care of your stress.
Very good. Okay. And the second one was the Age Well system. I think we can pretty much imagine what that's for, but let's talk about some of the ingredients that are in there and how that was formulated.
Yeah. CoQ10 is the number one ingredient in the stage 1. Well, this is all about fatigue, energy, vitality, joints, mobility. So you have your stage 1, which is your joints and mobility, and then your stage 2 is for getting, off of the fatigue and really just having more feeling, just more energy throughout your day. So you have your CoQ10. Again, you have your executive B vitamins. You have the quercetin as well, the turmeric, which is a big part. It offers cellular support. One of the things that I'm focused on at this stage is about cell support and regenerating your cells. Having every day our cells are alive and they die, and we're here to try to reinvigorate them to be better than they were before. So that's why we use products to actually support, or foods to support what you do on a daily basis to feel better about yourself. For joints and mobility, that's such a big part of when you're getting older. So many people, and even you don't even have to be getting older. You can just be a sports person and have issues with your knee, and you need, some sort of mobility, something to add a mineral or an herb to get in there into the bloodstream to actually help feel better, to help you feel better about your movement and have better movement as a result. The study after study, and this is, based on like 300 clinical studies that I've looked at, you can see, while the medical community doesn't say, yes, I endorse this, you can see from all of the studies that there are benefits and that there is no way around it. It is true. You believe it, you feel it, you have your experiences.
Now, this is also a stage 1, stage 2 deal. Is the stage 2 also designed to be something that supports sleep, or how does that work?
Yeah, when the stage 2, the morning formula is with the Age Well is to support its cellular support, fatigue, and energy. And then the stage 2 is the mobility, your joints, and your vitality. The stage 1 is the CoQ10, which is all cellular support oriented. And then your stage 2 is your boswellia extra. You have your chondroitin, your turmeric, your methionine. Say that 6 times fast. Your MSM, your bromelain, the glucosamine sulfate. These are all things that help to give you that ability to support your joints and your vitality.
And the fact that they're all combined into one
comprehensive program allows somebody not to have to go buy a million products.
Yeah, that's huge.
The system, and the pricing is, the pricing is amazing for what you get in here with the quality that we offer. So there you go.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions on the topic of the products before we move on, Anne-Marie?
Not really, because I was just thinking, the fact that you have it all in one bottle and all in one place, because I have heard, and I don't know how true this is, but if you take lots of different things, like it kind of dilutes because your body's like absorbing everything at once or whatever. So it dilutes. So I suppose in the fact it's all in one pill and it's being digested in one go, that's quite more effective, isn't it?
Totally.
Is that true?
You got it. Thank you. Ding, 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 ding. You win the prize.
Yay.
Actually, I was realizing we left one out, didn't we? Because there's a third one you wanted to talk about, the Stay Sharp system.
Yeah, the Stay Sharp. I love this, and this is really for any age group. The other, the Age Well and the Well-Being are targeted 40 plus.
Mm-hmm.
The Stay Sharp system is really 30 plus. So these are the workforce group, all the way up to 100 years old, 100 plus. People are living older these days.
Yeah, I noticed. Well, I especially noticed just because my own family tree, on my mother's side, my great grandmother lived to 108, and on my father's side, his brother is alive at 107. So I have longevity on both sides. Yeah.
Wow.
You've got another 50, 60 years left in you, Walt.
I know. I would be doing this show for a long time.
I was going to just say.
This got to be ready is all I can say.
You're going to have to find a lot more guests. That's wonderful. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, there's so many technologies, medical, and otherwise that allow us to to actually get to a much better place. So yeah, I mean, why not? Why not? But if I just want to live a healthy life, that's the key. And I want to live each day in the moment. That is my motto in life. Live,
Yeah,
the
I mean, well, that's
best.
the whole point. If you're going to live a long life, you want to live it as an active life, as a joyful life. You want to go out and live life, and you don't want to be hung up, hanging out I don't know, in an armchair or a wheelchair or whatever for 30 years or something like that. That's not living.
No,
You got to be able to live.
I know. And the key here is it's really just, what are we going to do? What are the things that we are willing to do to make a commitment to have a better life? And what are the practices that we, and it does start with, does start with, your mind. I mean, it starts with how powerful you are in, positivity and putting that out, because that's the whole thing. Your body follows what you feel and you think. Your mind is moving to what you feel. Both of them. Abraham talks about it's all a feeling place, but
Right.
it's like you got to get in the feeling, and then your mind follows, and you tell your mind what to do. We direct our own thoughts. So
And it becomes a reinforcing cycle too, because the activities that you engage in, especially if you engage in certain activities that are really good for keeping the mind sharp, like they already know, I'm a dancer. Dance is one thing that's really, really good for that kind of thing.
What kind of dance do you do?
Oh, I mainly swing and hustle, but I also do the Latin dances and ballroom and such. So yeah, I'm
He's really rather
well
good.
immersed in it.
Is that right? Wow. That's cool.
But there are a number of activities you can do that directly improve the ability of the brain to stay sharp. I mean, literally, they've been shown to be excellent ways to combat things like Alzheimer's and the various degenerative diseases. But there are also there's the medical side and the nutritional side, the supplemental side, which is the side that you're addressing.
Right.
So
exactly.
that's why I'm saying the whole thing kind of it's like a
about
cycle. It's like a cycle that reinforces itself. You have to really be doing all of it. That's how you, first of all, stay in that high vibe emotional state, but it's
Totally.
also how you keep everything, feeding each other, so to speak.
Right. Right. They do. And all of I'm saying all of these products, and it's not, and I tell you, I feel like that these systems that we have are amazing. They're ridiculous. They're off the charts. But yes, I mean, it's not like these are the only fabulous, products out there. The key is about finding what resonates with you and then going with it and making a commitment to have a better life. So with the Stay Sharp system, yeah, I mean, the stage one it's the neurocomplex. So we have a stage one neurocomplex, which is the brain, right? It's all about focus, memory, clarity, just like you were just saying, with finding word games, and then supplementing that with products that are going to take you through the day. And what are, some of the items in here? Again, we have a proprietary blend, which includes just, I mean, a whole chock full of, I mean, it's some really amazing, but, I mean, it's like you have your B's, your B vitamins, your biotin, you've got your magnesium. It's the combination too. It's not just, oh, look, look at these herbs, but it's like the herbs here, they're in the same, here, and the minerals, they're all here. But the key is it's a combination, how they're put together, that actually formulate and make the product for what it is for the brain. So memory, clarity, focus. And then you have your stage two, which is, cognition, anti-aging again, and your mood. It's really addressing your mood. And this is the evening formula. And so we call this the Exec B, but it has a host of, the B's. You've got your niacin, riboflavin, you've got your thiamine, you got vitamin C, your biotin. So, I mean, Inositol, these are, items that everything that we all need. The combination is what addresses and makes it a Stay Sharp system, spectacular, if you will.
Yeah. Okay. Are you, as a company, recommending that people do all three of these main product lines, or are you recommending that they pick the one that seems most beneficial to what they're trying to accomplish, or how do you recommend?
Well, we absolutely recommend that they buy all the systems. And if there's something that they feel more inspired to go for, I mean, the key is, they will, if you buy all, if you make a commitment and have all three systems that you're committing to over a 30 to 60-day period, change is inevitable. I mean, that is what happens when you commit to a certain system, a group. And this is what we do for helping other people to achieve their result, because that's what this is all about: achieving a better lifestyle, feeling happier, feeling healthier. And this supports everything they're doing in their life, whether they're working out, they're going hiking, whether they're at home reading a book, everything supports. So the key is, what are they attracted to? And that's what they should buy, what they are attracted to.
I'm also going to kind of go out on a limb and guess that you're also recommending that people don't try to get their nutrients from the supplements. They continue to try to get their, not trying to do the pizza and the hamburger all the time, but actually trying to have a full healthy meal system and let this supplement rather than replace.
Our article, I've written a half dozen articles about that. In fact, it is all about supplementing a good diet, a healthy diet, supplementing. This is not, you're not going to replace what you need in your system. You're just simply going to be adding to that experience. And so this is meant to be additive to help reinforce what you're already doing. But does that mean that you can't go out and have a phenomenal hamburger?
No, of course not. Yeah.
Of course.
Right.
Go eat, go have fun. That's the whole key. Is it doesn't matter if you're in the right mindset and you calibrate to who you are, the universe you can eat what you will, and you're not going to put on a pound. It really is like that. I've had that manifestation. I see that in my own life, where I'm okay if I go do something, I eat something that's not perfect. The key is, I don't want to be perfect in what I eat, and nor does many people. There are people who do phenomenal, but you hear story after story of people who have eaten perfectly, have done this. So the regimen is just right on the dime, and still they get, either they pass away, or, they get cancer. Some horrible thing happens to them. And so, it's so much, there's a lot of other things going on that we can't necessarily control. But what we can do is control how we think. We can control our thought. We control how we feel. And we can certainly, based on that, control what are we going to eat on a daily basis, and how are we going to make it, how do we feel better about ourselves? What can we do 2024 to be better suited to being the best person they possibly can be, in their lives?
Certainly a laudable goal. It's one that I think we all want to aim for at one time or another. One thing I've noticed a lot lately, and this has actually been an ongoing topic here on the show for many years, but because I keep bringing it in, that's why it's an ongoing topic. But it's funny how that works. But I think it's an ongoing topic in people's lives, either consciously or subconsciously, just depending on how committed they are or not committed they are to this kind of self-improvement we're talking about. But even when we commit to focusing on the good things, focusing on the positive thoughts and so forth, since we do live in this world of contrast and polarity, we don't always stay there. In fact, I continue to be amazed at how much we bounce around. I don't mean like week to week. I mean like minute to minute.
Oh, totally.
It's quite dramatic. If we had some way to actually track our mental processes throughout the day, and then were to read the graph afterward, we'd be stunned at just how it bounces all over the place throughout the day.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, well, if you'd read this, you'd have me committed.
Wow. So what kind of journal is that?
Just anything goes in there.
Is that what you had recommended, Walt? The journal?
Well, not so much the journaling, although certainly journaling is great. No, I was just addressing in general the fact that as much as we like to give our attention to the idea, I'm going to be focusing on good stuff, we don't do it. We try to, and the perfectionist side of us says, well, I got to do this a whole lot more. But the reality is we literally don't a lot of the time throughout our days. And it shifts from moment to moment. It's something that I don't know anybody. I don't think I've ever met anybody who maintains a continuous, constant focus of positivity throughout their day.
I know. It's really something. I do have it's so funny. I have a friend that kind of just makes me think of a dear friend of mine who actually has a phenomenal, her line of, just kind of what her, what do they call it? That tolerance level where she's just operating at happy. She's operating at happy.
Yeah. And we've had people on I can think of one that Anne-Marie and I both know. His name is David Strickle. And he was actually literally on the show about a year and a half ago, talking about how he was constantly in that really good place and so forth. And this is semi-comical what happens next. He says, I'm actually getting bored because it's always good. There's no, I'm actually thinking I should need to dip into the contrast a little bit. Yeah. Well, he kind of overdid it. His house burned down 4 months later.
Oh my God.
That's what you wish for.
No way. And obviously he was okay. Yeah. Everybody.
Not only was he okay, he's okay with it to this day. I mean, he was on the show a couple times last month talking about how, well, yeah, it did, but it doesn't affect me. It's like, yeah, there's the house. It's still burned down. We're still dealing with the insurance. We're still dealing with the rebuild, and it doesn't affect me.
Yeah.
Well, so again, the response obviously plays a big role in it too. But it just goes to show, even somebody who is so focused and able to maintain that focus, they still go into the contrast.
Yeah.
It's part of being a human.
That's how you know what you don't want. You have to, to know what you do. And we have, anyway, as a student, I'll say it one more time of Abraham, that's what they tell you, that's why you're here. You're supposed to have contrast because it's supposed to show you what you really, it gets you even more focused into how you want to manifest, the next stage, the next step. And it's constant to the, like you say, it's like, oh my God, like on a daily basis, we go up and down. I'm totally in that mindset. That happens to me like every moment, one up, down. And the key here is about just, and a part of me wants to be like, man, I just want to have it leveled out. But it's interesting to see how, I'm asking for things. I can see them manifest. Great. And then I get to ask for something else. And I get a little frustrated that why can't it just all manifest right now?
Yeah, I think we all do it one time or another. I was actually having a conversation on this topic with a woman recently who was only peripherally aware of law of attraction. She was asking me about it, trying to get a sense of how the whole thing works. And I made a comment to her. I kind of made it on the fly, but I realized afterward it really is true for me. I'm not so much into trying to manifest stuff anymore. I'm more into trying to understand how the universe works. I just want to understand why is it that, if I'm continuously, not continuously, but frequently, let's put it that way, frequently focusing on certain things, I tend to get more of those certain things. It's law of attraction. That's the thing. And the more different ways that I become aware of that, notice it, that's where I feel like my power in life comes from.
Right.
So even if I haven't achieved this, perfect notion of I'm going to maintain that high vibration at all times, it doesn't matter. What I'm really learning is, this is actually how the universe operates.
Right. Isn't that such a cool insight? Such a great awareness. I love that.
It took me 11 years to get there.
Well, you've got another 60 years on the planet, Walt. So just, you've got the
so I have time. That's good, right?
Nothing. Yeah, exactly. That's so great. Wow. Yeah, no, I totally get that. Yeah, it's about really just kind of honing in on, I think the enjoyable part for me is finding, it's like I don't get stuck in, there's a lot of processes. So like if I'm doing Abraham, like they offer a lot of processes, which
Mhm.
is cool because it gives me like a little bit of a structure of
Sure.
how I can actually, kind of set my mind so I can see the result and kind of stay out of my own way.
Are you talking about the ones at the back of Asking It Is Given, the book?
Well, it's like right now, like even there's something called the placemat process. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it
Yeah.
has, yeah, it's like it's like I get overwhelmed so easily, right?
Mhm.
I'm running this business and I'm just like crazy with things I have to do. So it's like there's like, 100 emails that have to get answered. So, okay, it's like, what am I going to do? What are my priorities for me that I can really get done today? And then giving the rest to the universe to do. I mean, I did that last night. I had something that came up and I just said, universe, I need your help. I was like just talking in my mind. It's like, can you please do this for me? And I couldn't believe it, but it really did get done. It really did get done. So like stuff like that, it's like I guess it's a suggestion, more like I get a suggestion or I'm influenced by a process or a way to do something that's different than I would normally do. And that's what I need is just some kind of input or some encouragement. And so what I find is like having, the I know that on a daily basis, I can get really wrapped up in my own thoughts and they can really send me in a negative kind of downward spiral. But if I'm willing to allow myself to kind of go there for a minute and then kind of venture up the emotional scale, and just kind of go, okay, well, let's get, and then like an hour later, I totally flip I'm in a different zone and I don't even remember being back in that negative zone. It's such a cool way to actually observe. And we only have us to observe. We're not, like observing necessarily with somebody else over there. It's like, it's like when we do it, it's like that aha moment and if I can't do it for myself and make myself feel better, then I can't be good for somebody else.
It's probably just as well, actually, that we really can't pay attention to everybody. There's 7 billion people on this planet. Paying attention to all that would probably be a bit overwhelming. So probably just as well.
Just as well. Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, this has been a fun conversation. Before we lose you, we need to get a little information from you. First of all, the website, because obviously that's what people need to find in order to take a look at the products and learn more about them.
Thank you. It's called BeYouRenewed.com, BeYouRenewed.com. And then the social media, it's all Be You Renewed. Instagram is Be You Renewed Official.
Oh.
And feel free to email me, Heidi at BeYouRenewed.com.
Okay, cool. So people can reach out, ask questions. That's always a good thing. I also make it a point here on the show, and I've been doing this for about a year and a half, almost 2 years now. I recognized a couple of years ago that we kind of skipped something over a little bit. You talked earlier about how you really do this because you want to give back to people, you want to help people, and so forth. And that's certainly why everybody who comes onto the show, that's why they're doing it. But I noticed that we don't always get recognized for that because we're creating all this content. We do this podcast. You appeared on the podcast. You're doing other podcasts. You're writing on social media. You're doing all this stuff, this outreach. You're giving out this information and so forth. And that's the one we often don't get recognized for. I said, wait a minute, no. We should be recognized like that. So, on behalf of those people you've never met and you've never seen, that you've been helping in these ways, thank you for what you've been doing because you're making a difference in this world.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
See, you need to be recognized on that.
I appreciate that. I'll take it in. I'll take it in.
Good thing.
And every week you do that, it makes me smile. I love it.
It's really great.
Well, then let's go to you, Anne-Marie, for the finale, which I normally do, because I always ask you to pull out the one thing that grabbed your attention that kind of ties the whole thing together today. So what's your one thing to tie it all together?
I think what this is kind of triggered for me, and it's something that I have been thinking of recently, is I'm probably, obviously, my oldest I've ever been now, and probably on paper my unhealthiest. But since my mind has been healthy, I'm the healthiest I've been. So I really think it is about, yes, get your mind healthy and start making those little changes on the inside of your body, and you'll see the difference.
Well,
I love it.
well said.
Really,
Beautiful.
really good.
Thank
All right.
you.
Well, thank you, Heidi, for joining us and for sharing what you're doing. It's a very exciting project that you know, more than a project, it's a journey that you're on. It's a very exciting
Yeah.
journey that you're
Best
embarking
of
upon
luck.
here. Yeah.
Yes,
And
I thank you guys so much. And thank
we,
you for having me.
we're glad to have
Our
had you,
pleasure.
and I mean, I'm going to be curious to know what 5 years from now, what's the story? Because that's when you're going to have all the really great stories lined up for us. You know, not that the story you told us was bad; it was a good story, but
Right.
you know, that's when you get more and more of the anecdotal stories coming in from the customers and so forth. That's when it gets really
Absolutely,
fascinating.
absolutely. But it's the groundwork that really makes all the difference. It's the
This is true.
foundation, the
Yep.
strength of the foundation.
Yeah.
Very good. So
Thank
thank you very much. Thank you to our podcast listeners everywhere. We'll see you all next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.